Yo, 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 you tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy Dspill, and it is just me today. But, man, we got a lot to cover. Excuse me. We definitely have a lot to cover. I hope everybody is doing okay. I hope everybody is doing well. I just say this because a lot has been going on. I'll say in the whole month of January, I know we're in a new month, but the whole month of January has been crazy. The last few days of January have been insane as far as in news and as far as in just information. I know it's been very wonky lately with the adjustment with the, I don't want to say new, but I'll say returning president in office. Some people are excited about what he's been doing. Some people are upset about what he is doing. But I do know for a fact that there are a lot of people that look like me, that look like us, for those of you that are melanated, have a lot of facts wrong. And I'm not here to defend any sides. I'm not here to say what side I'm on, because I don't really have a side when it comes to the BS. But I will say that we got a lot to cover, and it's been some ratchet behavior on top of that. So, without delaying, y'all. Without delaying, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get it popping. Let's just get some crazy nonsense out the way. Getting started first. So I know you guys heard about the sister that decided that she wanted to sue Lyft or Uber because she was denied access to the Lyft due to her weight. I forget what her name is. I think it's Dank DeMoss or Dank DeMoss. I don't know, man. Everybody's names is wild. My stage name gets butchered all the time. But basically, she was looking to hitch a ride on the Lyft, and it went left. And so she sat down with a lawyer, and she wants to sue Lyft. Here's my thing. I love my people. Black folks, you know I love y'all. If you don't now, you know. Sister, you know what's going on. You know that this isn't a surprise as far as in somebody having some concern. I looked at the car. It's not like bruh had like an Excursion or an SUV or anything like that. But let's keep it funky for a minute, okay? Let's keep it funky. I mean, for starters, when you're running a business or you're doing business, independent contracting, whatever it is, you pretty much get to decide. You pretty much get to decide who you want to give service to, who you don't want to give service to. And unfortunately, this guy right here felt a way about, possibly something getting damaged or destroyed. Is it hurtful? I could see it being hurtful. Is it unrealistic? I don't know if it's unrealistic. I know anybody in certain situations like that would be concerned. I'm pretty sure if it was a bicycle, or something like that, like we forget that the things that we do have a weight capacity. You know what I'm saying? Everything has a weight capacity, and it's not necessarily there to say if you're too big, you can't sit on it, but a certain type of weight can do certain type of wear and tear on whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it's a vehicle, whether it's furniture, whether it's a carnival ride, a roller coaster, whatever the case it is. But I think it's just, honestly, more publicity. What I've learned doing music and seeing what's happened in the music industry and in social media, a lot of people do things for publicity. Apparently, she's an independent artist. She sings and raps, I guess. So this is just going to add more fuel to her brand name or whatever. So to me, it seems like it's more of a stunt to get a little bit more of exposure. And hey, if you get some money out of it due to some form of discrimination, then so be it. I don't know how far you're going to get with that right now with DEI and everything else up in arms and things getting shut down and repurposed and stuff like that. But, to each his own. So that's whatever. Moving along to, we see somebody has some Karen syndrome. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about legendary award-winning producer Scott Storch's, I hate to say it like this, baby mama, Florence Mirksy, is under a lot of heat right now. Let me go ahead. Let me get cool on y'all. She's under a lot of heat right now because, man, oh man, she decided to go racial. Now, I know in this country, we have people that don't care about critical race theory and slavery, and that was a long time ago, and we should stop using the N-word and all of these other things. Well, it's kind of hard to support that, and it's kind of hard to just stay silent instead of combating against these statements when you have people like this. So first of all, the problem that I have with this Florence woman is that she made a false claim. So she pulled a Me Too move and said that some guy touched her inappropriately, and that's where the racial slurs came out at. And then later on, we find out in a new clip, because, she started to, make her rants and get online and start crying and, try to basically flip it to be the victim, decided to say that nobody touched her inappropriately. She was upset. She was, I guess, having a bad day. But I don't know if a bad day warrants you saying racial slurs to Latinos. So she said a lot of racial things to Latinos, and then she said a lot of racial or a lot of derogatory things, basically to people that are less fortunate. Calling them poor several times. Yeah, she did that, and so in result of all of that, what I did like is because she was getting her car. It was a valet area that she was at. I'm sorry, I didn't give that information, but. What I did like is I liked how the valet guy responded. He was getting her keys together and she was saying, "You're poor, you're poor, you're poor." He was saying, "Your soul is poor." And I thought that was pretty deep. It probably went right over her head, but that was pretty deep. Yeah, she looked like she was suffering from some Karen syndrome. I mean, that's common. People, this race thing, I don't know if I'll ever see it end in my lifetime. And unfortunately, I don't know if it'll end in my children's lifetime. And I don't even know what it really takes for people to stop being prejudiced and racist. They're slightly similar, and there is a difference. A lot of people don't know. Look the definitions up. But yeah, I look at scenarios like this. She's not really visually appealing either. Yes, I'm taking a shot. But it's crazy that it doesn't take much to reveal, these prejudiced and racist people out here. It doesn't take much, honestly. It just takes, that rough day. I say that with air quotes, and a tipping point. And man, you really hear how people feel. So she's been online crying and doing like these fast little interviews trying to explain and talk about the situation. I think it's like way beyond that. I don't think people care about what she has to say anymore. She was trying to say, well, no, I'm not racist. And, I love, Hispanics and Latino. And that just makes it worse. In my opinion, when people start talking about how much they love and admire something that they completely offended and there's no way around it, it's really hard to cover that wound up or that cut up with love. It's virtually impossible for us to believe that, regardless of what group you are. It's just your credibility is done. It's over. It's gone. Finito. Right? So, hey, social media got it together. Social media got her together, and I support whatever backlash she's getting. As long as it don't go to the threats, the life-threatening things that people like to do online, I always think that's too far. But, however the internet wants to deal with her, hey, deal with her. That's how I see it, right? So, hey, watch what you say, people. If you do feel that way about people, you should probably stay away from those people. And get that out your heart. Get that hate out your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's at this point in time, after the history of this country, the things that we've learned, the things that they're trying to remove that should be taught, it's not worth it. I just feel like people that are prejudiced and racist, man, there's no way you're enjoying your life because you're exerting so much energy on people that you don't even know. You know, you have a personal issue with people you don't even know. I don't know, it's just crazy to me, you know. But moving along, TK Kirkland has really pissed off the black community. I've been watching TK Kirkland since I was a kid. You know, he's been around a long time. He's been doing comedy, you know, in the 80s, the 90s. I mean, the guy, he is a phenomenal comedian. He's hilarious. I've always thought he was underrated. But and he's been pretty wise too. I've actually wrote down some things that he said that really spoke to me as far as him being wise, because even though he looks a lot younger than he is, TK is in his 60s, so he's seen some things. But he really pissed off the black community because he said some things that you shouldn't say, even if there may be a little, and I do say a little, truth within what he was saying. So for starters, he was on a podcast. They were having a discussion, and somehow the conversation came up about, you know, not being able to see your children as stepfathers. Well, I'm going to just address the not being able to see your children thing. His philosophy is, and he is a father, he does have children, he does take care of his kids, he does have a decent relationship with his kids. Let me say this first. But he has a philosophy now that if the mother is making it extremely too difficult for you to see the child, then you should move on with your life and start a new family and just wash your hands with the situation. Now, that's the clip I got. I have not seen the full episode, but I just feel like that's pretty much a lot right there. I'm pretty sure there's more context to the content, but I don't agree with that. I do know what he means, because I do know that there's men out there that have went through hell and high water just to try to see their son, their daughter, no rhyme intended. And the mom just makes it difficult, just makes it really difficult. You know, the child support system is abusive to men. And, you know, it's a lot of scenarios are one-sided when it comes to fathers. It really is. Even as a married man, I've seen how it can be one-sided. Not necessarily something my wife did, but just how the hospitals work when your children are born. There's some things that are interesting, and for you guys that are married, that have children, you know what some of those things are. But I disagree. I don't think you should just give up, but I do understand the emotion and frustration behind men that probably contemplate that, because we're human, you know, and being human, we feel things, and we feel a lot of negative things that could resort to negative decisions, but the discipline and the morals is what keeps us from making those bad decisions and applying those bad behaviors and unhealthy behaviors. But I think that, you know, what I took from that is that, you know, it could be mentally and physically damaging to fight for that relationship for your child if the mom is against you, the courts are against you, your wallet is against you because your checks are being garnished. I mean, it can weigh on men heavy. But as men, we're supposed to come together. We're supposed to support each other, give each other better advice, try to find other ways to support that brother if you know that brother is a good man and is having a hard time seeing his children. But the courts are against a lot of fathers, specifically black fathers, and the courts definitely a lot of times, you know, pick sides with women. The one thing that I noticed when I seen the feedback, the comment section, and things of that nature that really, really bothers me, and it's bothered me the more I've heard these type of conversations come up, is the women. I don't think it's fair And I don't think it's appropriate for a lot of women to chime in on what they think a man should do if he is in a battle with the mother of his children on just getting time and co-parenting. And the reason why I feel this strong about it is because majority, I'll even be bold enough to say 90% of you women will never know what it feels like to not have control of your children and not be able to see your children because of the other parent. I'm going to just keep it a bean with you. Y'all don't understand that. So I don't think you guys really hold any weight to advise men on what to do. And the crazy thing is you get on the internet and everybody is a specialist. Everybody is a professional. They say all of the typical things that a person should do. Well, you need to go to court. No shit, Sherlock. You don't think that this person went to court? You don't think that they want to go to court? They may not be able to afford the best lawyer so that they have a fair trial. They probably already did go to court. They probably already lost. So then to go through all of that with a mom that is putting more effort into not letting the child see the father than the other way around, what the hell? Of course, a lot of these men do it. And I know for a fact because with my own anecdotal experience, I have plenty of close brothers of mine and siblings of mine that had to deal with this. And I watched them work and work and work to make sure that it was some, not even fair, but some kind of balance and some kind of fairness. So I just think it's disingenuous. I think it's disrespectful. And I think it's very naive to try to advise men, fathers, active fathers, trying fathers on what to do if the mom is just completely making it difficult or having an opinion on how he may deal with it. I know I wouldn't agree with a man walking away from their child, but you don't get to tell them when you know that automatically because of your gender and because you are the mom, you're going to have a certain type of power over this child. You know that. I could bring countless people on this podcast that I know that are very great and active fathers, and they will echo some of the things that I'm saying and probably explain to you how lopsided, the system is and the fairness is when it comes to co-parenting and mother and father. So that one really got under my skin. When seeing a lot of the women, just when I hear that, and it doesn't mean that women should just shut up, because I know that there is a handful of women that understand what these men are going through, and they're probably a product of it because their father had a hard time seeing them growing up. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for the women that just have this quick fix idea, it's not a quick fix idea. A lot of people make decisions from emotions that stem from things outside of what the conversation should be about. It happens a lot. It happens all the time. Dad gets a new girlfriend or dad's new girlfriend is pregnant. All of a sudden, mom wants to play games when there was no issues. Or dad's doing better in life and, he's got a better job and, now I'm going to go get more child support. And he thinks he's this. And, I told him not to buy him that. Like, there's so many different things. I'm going to be honest. I take my hat off to people that co-parent. I don't know how you guys do it. I know there's this war between single fathers or single people and married people, but let me tell you, from a person that is married, y'all got some serious endurance when it comes to that battle. Like, seriously, it's just so much not being under the same roof and not, and then having different rules under different roofs and how you want to raise the kid versus how the other parent wants to raise the kid. It is crazy. I don't know how y'all do it. I do not want to do it. God forbid something happened in my life. I do not want to do that because it just sounds like it's a pain. And I've even went through something, some of it, I'm not gonna say I'm a product of it, but my parents split and it wasn't fun. So, I do have the experience of what the kid may be going through, but man, I just wouldn't want to deal with that, honestly. But like I said, if women want to try to give men, some motivation, or some inspiration or something like that, I think that's okay for the conversation. But to jump in and be like, well, what you should do or you shouldn't do this, I don't know. There's really it really grinds my gears. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that. But, that was the first part of what TK was talking about. The other part was the step parent thing. He went in on that. And I know there's been a lot of black men, a lot of black content creators in the red pill community that have echoed this sentiment about men, especially men that don't have kids, jumping into a relationship with women that have them. Here's the reality, people. And let me talk to the ladies for a minute. I don't think for 1 minute that any woman that has a son, whether he's a star basketball player, a star football player, or just a talented person, he's going to be a great chemist or whatever the case it is, just you've done your due diligence as a mom, okay? And you've made sure that your child has been given all the resources and is about to be somebody great and contribute to society. It's hard for me to believe that y'all women would just push for your child that doesn't have any children, has a bright future, to get in a relationship with somebody that has kids. I just don't, I'm talking to women that have, some of you women are single moms. I just don't think that you guys would do that. Because I know I wouldn't push my son or my daughter to do that. However, if things play out and they just end up hitting it off and they're a great, couple, and they come around and now you build this relationship and this dynamic with the woman or the man that's coming in the picture with kids, yeah, you might have a softer heart when you get to know that person. But we have to stop. You have to stop playing these delusional games with, well, there's nothing wrong with this. Nobody is saying there's my bad. Let me correct myself. There's a lot of people saying there's things wrong with being with a single mom and a stepdad or whatever. But in my opinion, I don't think that is a terrible thing. My father did it, okay? My father was a stepfather, okay? And he was a hell of a dad, and, we all miss him, and he did great things. He taught us things, and a lot of us in the family still keep his memory alive. You know what I'm saying? So a father can make an impact, for real. This whole idea and notion that it's a terrible idea to be a stepdad. I just think there's certain things that we should consider. If you are single and you don't have children, yeah, it is probably a good idea to try to find somebody that is single without children. Some people want to experience certain first times together. But I would not say to write somebody off because they have kids. I wouldn't say that, because everybody's different. Sometimes people with children are more mature than people that don't have kids. And sometimes it's because they take care of kids. And sometimes it's just, they know how to navigate life and know how to prioritize responsibilities, and vice versa. Sometimes there's people that have no children are more responsible than people with children. We all know, as parents, we see people out here that are hella irresponsible and they got kids, and they think that just because they got kids that they're in the same boat as you. And it's like, nah, because I don't make the decisions you make, but I don't agree with TK on that. But I think the big message that probably got lost in his delivery, probably got lost in the context of how he said it, was, it's not ideal for two people that have two totally different experiences daily to try to make it work, especially when it can involve other people. So if you're a single man and she has a kid or two, that's going to be a different dynamic. What's the relationship like with the father? Is the kid really close to the dad, or, is the kid in a troubled situation? Are you expected to come in and she's having this idea to replace who the dad was in the picture? It's a lot of moving parts to it that you would need to sort through if you're going to make that type of decision. But we're not going to act stupid, and we're not going to be blind to the idea that if it was your child, you would not encourage that. You would not encourage that as the first choice to do that. Nobody is going to encourage their son or daughter to make that as their first choice as far as a life experience. So come on, folks. Let's keep it real. there were some comments, because all these different pages were posting it. TK, you hot right now, brother. You are definitely hot right now. You in hot water. People is mad at you. And some of the things that, it started going to a different direction. Like, oh my God, like, please throw away the microphone, shut down the podcast. Look, I know there's a lot of trash platforms out there, and we are not one of them. You do not have to do away with a whole industry because there's people that are on podcasts saying things that you don't like. Come on, y'all, keep it real. We see stuff all the time we don't like on TV. Half y'all don't like the president. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna throw your TV away? Like, let's just keep it a buck. But TK, he says some things that, that would piss people off, and they have a valid reason to feel that way. Because, for example, sometimes when you say things like, don't date somebody because they got kids, or walk away, if the mom is making it difficult, you got to understand, brother, that there are women out here whose baby daddy walked away and they weren't being difficult. You have to understand that some men just walk away because they just don't want to do their part as far as in co-parenting. So I do understand the women that feel that way, but the women that are feeling that way, you have to understand context and remember context. He's also talking about a mom that's making it difficult for the child to be in the man's life and vice versa. Now, again, I am not saying that that's what you should do, but that's the context of the conversation. And let's keep it real. Women that make it difficult, that's what they want. The mom wants that man to give up rights, give up effort so she can pick, so she can have a redo. I don't know if you guys remember some years ago, there was a post flying around. I don't even know if it was a real post. It kind of looked a little janky, where a female said, man, I wish you could pick your baby daddy. And they flamed that post. But the truth is you get to pick your baby daddy, and you get to pick your baby mama. And it just so happens that sometimes the people that you pick, they switch up on you, or they double down on things that were a red flag to you that you chose to ignore. But I do understand those women that really are working hard at being, they're a single mom, and they go through it because these men just abandoned ship. They abandoned the kids. But the context was a little bit different than that. Same thing with the step-parent thing. Some kids were stepkids. Some people's stepfather was great, but some people's stepfather was terrible. You know what I'm saying? So some of these men that don't want to step up and be stepdads, that probably might be a good idea, because you might be trash at it. And we don't need no more trauma to these kids than what we already have in our community. So I can't necessarily say that it's just one-sided as far as in good or bad in the conversation. I just know I feel like TK's at that age, because he's an older guy, where now I've lived my life. I'm going to just say what I feel, and I don't care. A lot of boomers do that. A lot of Gen X does that. And, it just smacks the hornet's nest. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, TK. Maybe we'll get some more detail when you sit down with Vlad, or maybe when you get on another platform, you'll get into some more context, or maybe the context is already out there and people are just clipping it up and just getting the clicks off of it. I'll try to go back and watch and see if I see something different, and I can come back to it. I don't know. We'll see. But moving along, I know that a lot of people are probably on edge right now. I just want to take time in the episode to definitely give my condolences to anybody that's affiliated or related to people that have been losing their lives in these plane crashes. Now, I know if you get on TikTok right now, you type that stuff up, you're going to see all kinds of conspiracy theories. I mean, I've seen people do a crossover reach to the fact that DEI is affecting all of this. I don't even know if that's 100% true. I seen a connection that made some sense, but I'm not going to sit up here and say that because of that happening, it's a result in what's going on in politics. What I will say is, bruh, Donald Trump's presidencies, he be having some stuff be going down. If I was the president, I'd be stressed out. Like, why me? The minute I get in office, just the things that never happen start to happen. What do I need to do? Do I need to, JD, you be the president for a minute? Because, man, I can't do it. The stress. But I do feel for families. I mean, I've seen people now talking about, man, I ain't never getting on a plane again. I'm not touching a plane for a few years. And then I'm concerned about my loved ones that are traveling. You know, I got friends traveling right now that I'm worried about. That's out of town. Worried about them. You know, I'm checking to see. There's some loved ones of mine that are out of town right now or leaving to go out of town. And when I started seeing the news, I'm checking like what areas to, hoping and praying that, it's not a destination for people that I care about going, because I would hate to get that news like some of these families have already gotten. We definitely are living in scary times. So I would say be safe as you can, because, you can only do your part to a certain degree with being a passenger. But just be safe, stay prayed up. It's scary times. And like I said, my condolences. I mean, every other day we're hearing about something regarding these planes. So my condolences to the families. Something that I definitely wanted to wait until the last part of the podcast. I was so eager. Well, let me back up for a minute. For those of you that tuned in to episode 5160 of the Notion podcast, Boss Talk, it's the first Boss Talk episode of the year with me and Jelani. We spent the majority of the episode talking about DEI, and it was pretty controversial. It was kind of lit on the TikTok, not so much on the other platforms, but it was so lit on the TikTok that I even did some response videos. A lot of times whoever's controlling the page, they'll respond, to people in the comments, and we invite that. I just want to let you know that none of us are going to get upset. Every episode, at the end of the episode, especially me, yours truly, will invite the smoke as far as in conversation in the comment section. But there were some things that when I was going back and forth with some of you guys about, DEI, I could tell that a lot of you were making some decent points, or, were coming from a place of emotion rather than logic. And I feel like, I believe that the reason why you guys were so triggered to comment was because of 3 words that were said. And I remember verbatim, you were saying, I was basically talking about DEI and I said, I don't care. Those 3 words had y'all in the comment section. You don't care, and this is tone deaf, and this is I've somebody said I was sheltered. I was like, man, this is crazy. Y'all just saying whatever. But I wanted to definitely slap all of y'all with some facts. And I feel like these facts are important, and I feel like my people, Black people, need to understand what we're getting upset about and what we're hyper focused on before actually getting upset and hyper focused on it. So I said, I don't care, because I've been saying, and we've been saying in countless Boss Talk episodes, we need to get together. We need to stick together. We need to create our own ecosystem. We need to, do all of these things to support our community and our neighborhoods and everything else. And of course, now here we are, and everybody's up in arms. Well, let's break down some facts. To my people, this is to my people, Black people. I love us, and I believe in us, and I think we can do a lot better than what we've been doing with the resources that we have from those activists that fought for them, okay? We comprise of about 4% of DEI. That's how beneficial it's been for us. I'm not saying we don't need it. I'm not saying it was never needed. I'm just saying that's basically the stat. Affirmative action, which they've now done away with. Do you guys want to know who benefited from the most? Guess, comments. Go ahead, boom, boom, boom. Drop the comments. The people, the person, the group, whatever that's benefited from affirmative action the most are Caucasian women. Dun, dun, dun. So what I will say with those stats, the people out there that were under the impression that a whole bunch of black people were getting opportunities that they didn't deserve and were incompetent at, that is false, because we were barely benefiting off of affirmative action. We were barely benefiting off of DEI. So now you need to go back and figure out who was really, and I say this with air quotes, stealing your jobs and opportunities, because it wasn't and it ain't us. All right. Back to the black folks, back to y'all. When I spoke on this on the Boss Talk episode, and I explained that, entrepreneurship and working together and creating our own ecosystem to where the black dollar can stay in the black communities longer, that's when the excuses came. Not everybody can start a business, and, you don't really understand. It's not just affecting this. And listen, this stuff with DEI will affect black businesses more than black workers. Understand that. It will affect the black businesses and the small black businesses, especially the small black businesses, because of things like grants and federal funding. So yeah, it can hurt us in that way. But you know what? What's been hurting us more? Not spending with us, not investing in us. And let me stop at the word invest, because when I used that word last time, people thought going to the stock market. If I continuously buy from one store every week, that's me investing into it. So that's what I meant by investing. I didn't mean the other investing, like you're on Wall Street and you're Gordon Gekko or somebody like that. Okay, that's not what I meant. But we need to pull together, and with these numbers that I'm about to give y'all, because y'all finna get this work today, we should have been doing this. Okay, so let's get into it. Before I get into it, I am going to give you guys some numbers, but I'm also going to give you where a lot of the information is coming from. Pew Research. Now you have all of these different websites, because what I don't like is when people throw out numbers and stats and they don't give you no context or where you got it from. They don't cite their sources, so anybody can say anything, and then because such and such said it, it's the gospel. Pew Research. You can also get stats on black demographics, because I'm talking to my black people. You can get stuff from Pew Research, black demographics. The other one, what's the other one? You guys know the other one, the more known one, the Census Bureau. All of this information, and it's never the day of. So when I give you these numbers, you can't be like, oh, well that was, because there's time periods and when they gather more data, but it's pretty accurate and it's not that far away. So just bear with me and don't be an idiot. All right. But as of 2023, approximately 48.3 million people in the United States identified as black, accounting to about 14.2% of the total U.S. population. That's right. So, give or take, it's about 48 million of us in this country. And we make up about 14% of the population, which goes back to the point that I wanted to make for y'all delusional people out here that think black folks is just taking all these different opportunities, and they're incompetent. First of all, we not incompetent. Second of all, it ain't us. All right. Now, this represents a significant increase from 2000, when the black population was estimated at 36 million. Now, the black population in the U.S. is diverse, with more than 5 million individuals being foreign-born, comprising about 11% of the total black population. I could keep going down the line of all of this different stuff, but here's some more context or some more details before I get into the context of what I'm about to break down to y'all. Because black people, I need y'all to listen to me. I need y'all to listen, because these excuses of we can't do this, we can't do that, and you don't understand, and just because Nobody's rich like you, which I'm not rich. Whatever. Um, just to hit you guys with some more numbers, in terms of geographic distribution, the highest number of Black Americans are found in Texas with 3.96 million, Florida with 3.70 million, Georgia with 3.54 million, New York with 3.53 million, and California with 2.83 million. So these states are the states where the majority of us in this country are. Now, the states that have the highest proportions of Black residents are, hold on. That's the geographic distribution. Now, if I go to the states with the highest proportions of Black residents, the District of Columbia, 44%, Mississippi, 37%, Louisiana, 33%, Georgia, 33%, and Maryland, 32%. So yeah, it's right there. That's where we at though, Black folks. That's where we at. Yo, why are you giving these boring numbers, man? About how many Black people it is and where we're at. What does that have to do with the smack that you was talking about building businesses and working together? I will be more than happy to tell you why I'm giving you these numbers. Black Americans represent a significant and growing segment of the United States fashion and luxury markets. Irritating. In 2019, they accounted for 20% of luxury spending in the U.S., a figure projected to increase by 25 to 30% by what year? 2025. So this is right before COVID. And you know what happened during COVID. Everybody was getting that bag. Scamming, all of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they blew this number through the roof. Okay? Affluent Black American households have substantial purchasing power, with total expenditures amounting to $246 billion annually. Notably, they tend to spend more on designer clothing, business attire, and formal wear compared to the overall affluent consumer segment. Looking ahead, Black consumers' spend on apparel and footwear is expected to grow by 6% annually, reaching approximately $70 billion by 2030. It's not even 500 million Black people in this country. And we spend billions. Now that I'm talking to us, and I'm not just talking to the struggling, I'm not just talking to the affluent, I'm not just talking to lower middle class and upper middle class, I'm talking to all of us. How in the hell is it about 48 million of us, but we are spending billions annually? I don't want to hear it. When I hear the excuse of it's a pipe dream that we can work together and it's impossible to start a business, it's all excuses. And you know what excuses are? I'm going to tell you what excuses are. Excuses are monuments of nothingness that build bridges to nowhere. Those of us who use these tools of incompetence are masters of nothingness. That's what excuses are. We are talented, we are creative, and we are very smart. But for some reason, a handful of us like to still believe that we can't do certain things. We certainly can spend the money. I mean, even in the independent world of music, the independent part of the music industry is generating over $1 billion a year. And that's just music where artists get robbed all the time. But as far as in responding to not everybody can start a business, yes, the hell you can. Right here in California, Sacramento County specifically, it costs you less than $400 to start a business on paper. Now, where you're going to get your funding, That's a conversation. How much money do you have to get things started? That's a conversation. But yeah, it's that easy to start a business. And it's probably cheaper in other states, because I did say California, and California charged to breathe out here. You feel me? So we're going to debunk that. The problem is, like I was saying, is that we keep playing around with working with each other and spending with each other. We can do this. I have faith in black people, but black people got to have faith in black people. I'm only one person. I can't do it. I can't do it. Not by myself. But I will say this to you. With those numbers, when y'all come on our page and y'all come in the comment section and y'all think y'all know something, you need to go do the research. Because what a lot of our problem is where we choose to invest. Now, I get it. Crypto is a hot thing. You want to invest in that, or some of us do have small businesses, but there is a black business virtually for anything in any industry. We have to go do the groundwork, just like y'all do the groundwork to get in the comment section and talk crazy and throw some facts in there or some false facts in there. Y'all can get online, y'all can get on Google, y'all can get on Instagram, and you guys can go find black people that are doing things that you like. We too busy worried about Target and Amazon and everywhere else when we need to be worrying about the people like us that's looking for us to be able to provide for us. That's what supporting black was supposed to be about. And if anybody else that's outside of the culture, people that aren't black want to buy from it, hey, you know what? Cool. And here's the other thing. Just so we can jump into the whole conversation of, some people might feel like, well, some people don't know how to conduct business with these black folks. And man, it's all kinds of major corporations that don't know how to conduct business. How many times you done call T-Mobile or AT&T or whatever company you working with, and somebody from Bangladesh pick up the phone and you can barely understand what they saying? That ain't conducting great business. You know what's crazy? Let me tell you something that's crazy real quick. Let me tell you something. This is wild. So I could call about my phone T-Mobile right now, and it's most likely going to be somebody that's not here in the States that I'm going to have a hard time trying to go through the accent, right? And understanding, each other. And I'm going to go round and round because I know they probably reading whatever they need to say off the computer or whatever the case is, right? But I called Nintendo because I had an issue on my Nintendo Switch that I barely play. They charged me for a bill and I don't even play the thing, right? And it was somebody that I swear was from here. I don't know if they were from here, but I can understand them clearly. They can understand me clearly. We got done with the transaction in like less than 5 minutes. So you have on all kinds of levels the way that people conduct business that may not be ideal for you. But all I'm saying is, black folks, stop with the excuses, because they are monuments and build bridges to nowhere. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We are spending billions of dollars, and we're not even spending a fraction of that in our own community. Not even a fraction. Because a fraction of that would be at least a billy. So we got to stop with the nonsense. We really do. I support black. Right now I got on LaVar Cole. I support Kicks and Sneakers. I support Earth Tones. I support Stable Goods. I support Bevel. Look, and I'm not going to go down the list and tell you every single one. I just gave you about 4, 5 of them. Go support your people and stop making excuses, because these numbers right here that I'm reading to you is proof that we're making excuses. Now, don't get me wrong. I know in the workforce, I know that there's discrimination. I know there's discrimination in real estate. I know there's discrimination in all of these different industries and different professions. I understand that. I know it's real. I've felt like I was being discriminated against and I wasn't given certain opportunities in the workforce that I've been in and that I'm currently in now. I understand that. But what I don't understand is, what is it about what we go through that doesn't give us the energy to want to invest in ourselves so we don't have to keep going through it? You know what I think needs to happen? I think black folks, what we need to do is we need to stop trying to be the first one and the only one. I don't know about y'all, but man, I am tired of these articles where the first black person to do this. Listen, that was cool for about 20, 30 years post civil rights. But in 2025, man, I don't care if this was the first black man to knock down 3 buckets of licorice, man. I don't care if it's the first black gamer to be the best at Call of. I don't care about that. Call of Duty and the first black man to get $1 billion with a speaker company. I sound a little racist too, but I want to see us thrive because I know we have the ability to. Now, I know that there's other groups out there, there's other people out there that don't look like us, that think we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, and they think we need to work hard because they feel that we don't and we're lazy. Let me tell you something. We are not lazy. We are not stupid. We are not ignorant, and we are certainly not lazy. I'll tell you who is lazy. Them people that went all the way over to Africa to bring our asses over here so they can get out of doing the work themselves, they asses is racist, and they asses is lazy, all right? Now, let me tell you this. The next time somebody that don't look like you say that, sisters and brothers, remember what I said. Somebody went all the way to Africa to get out of doing some damn work because they ass was lazy, and most likely it's probably the ancestors or the ancestor of the person that's talking to you crazy like that. But no matter what we go through or no matter what the climate is looking like, we can't use the excuse of we can't do it or we won't or when is this going to happen. All of the comments that I seen on all the different platforms that I was responding to, we can't keep making that excuse when we have billions of dollars that we're not leaving on the table. We're literally delivering to the economy. The amount of money that we spend annually and the amount of money that we're projected to spend in the next 5 years, every single African American should have $1 billion in their account or in their name somewhere. That's how much money we're spending. Oh, yeah. Now, I get it. We've had activists talk about reparations and stuff. And I do think we're entitled to that. I think we deserve reparations. If we're going to give all of these other groups, and historically we've given all of these other groups these opportunities and these resources and their reparations, Black people are entitled to it. Black people are also entitled to DEI. Black people are also entitled to a fair shot. But just because we're entitled don't mean we're supposed to just sit and wait on it. What are you doing in the waiting room? How are you trying to improve yourself? How are you trying to work with your comrade or your brother and sister to make sure that those resources are created by you until you get what you're owed? And sometimes we create things and we get opportunities that we don't even want what we're owed because we've already exceeded what we were supposed to be given. So I just say these things because some of you guys in the comments, I really did appreciate these conversations. Even some of you idiots that was just there to troll. I mean, I say about 60% of the comments were trolls and pages, where people were too coward to put their photo up. But I definitely enjoy the dialogue because that's what I want to come out of the content that we create. I want people to start having the conversation and hopefully we can get to a point of solution. And there was a couple people that threw out some solutions and I respect that. But all in all, we got to stop. We got to stop with the excuses. And when I say this isn't for people that don't look like us to keep telling Black people that they make excuses. I'm talking about not being informed and making excuses. Because when we say things like we can't, or maybe I heard one person say or seen one person say it was a pipe dream. No, it wasn't a pipe dream. This is history. Black Wall Street really happened. It really happened. And it wasn't just Black Wall Street. There was multiple cities like that. And for y'all that don't know, there is actually Black affluent neighborhoods and communities. When you guys get time, if you guys want to be motivated, get on Google and get on these different search apps and type in predominantly Black affluent areas throughout the country. They do exist. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe instead of promoting all of the things that are damaging on TV and online, and y'all know what apps I'm talking about. Y'all know what TV shows I'm talking about and what gossip sites I'm talking about. Majority of these Black ran and Black themed sites and TV shows never perpetuate the positive things that are being done in this country involving Black people. So maybe you need to change your brain so you can change your life. That's what I'll say. But I had to give you those facts. I know there's some people that's probably going to disagree with some of the things that I'm saying. Some people are probably going to look it up and try to find a discrepancy in what I'm saying. Go for it. Do your thing in the comment section. But what I'm going to say is we are more than capable of being successful. We don't have to wait on somebody to give us what we owe. Y'all know how it is. Y'all have had people, I'm pretty sure that Black people, we've had a friend or a relative where we loaned them some money and we didn't just stop working to wait and get what we were entitled to. I loaned you $20, so I'm not going to work so I get my $20. Nah, with that $20 in the back of our head, but we still got to go get the rest of that bread. No rhyme intended. But that's what I'm saying. We are entitled to a lot of this stuff. But why are we just waiting on it? And why are we putting so much energy on getting what we were barely given, if not given at all, when we could be given to ourselves and each other? That's all I'm saying. Anyways, you've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy Dspill. You know where to find me in the comment section if you got that smoke or you disagree or you got some facts for me. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, subscribe, like, follow, do whatever you need. Turn the notifications on so you can see our content. Until next time, peace.